Hi, friends. Welcome to Dysfunction Exposed, Season 2, Episode 5. As always, I'm Emma J, and I am your hostess with the mostess for this podcast. If you're not already aware, I think you should be by now because it's just me and my stories. So, we're kind of wrapping up the end of the primary years of my life. In the next couple of episodes, we're going to be talking about year 5, year 6, kind of ages 10 and 11, working my way up to secondary school. So let's get into it. I've been thinking a lot about, obviously, memories and the things that were significant enough for me to kind of pull out. And one of the things that cropped up over the past week was my first kiss. Now, it was a vile situation, to be honest. It was absolutely fucking gross. But let's talk about it. So it was one of the times when I was younger when I was still seeing my mum kind of semi-regularly. Now, as we know, as I got older, that relationship kind of disintegrated, and I'll talk more about that. And on this occasion, I was begging, and I mean, I would not let this go. I was like a dog with a bone. I was begging my mum to let my sister take me out with her and her friends. And obviously my sister, a few years older than me, was like, fuck off, definitely not. Like, I was a fat kid because I'd been piled in the pub corner with however many bottles of Coke and bags of crisp I could potentially handle, which happened to be a fucking lot. And yeah, she was just like, no, I don't want any association with this kid. Like, she's not my sister kind of scenario. But as I begged and pleaded, my mum agreed. And she was like, don't be tight. Come on, just take her out with you. So she did. And she was around 14, 15 maybe at the time. So she had a good few years on me. And she'd already kind of experienced her first kiss. And it came down to me and a younger brother of one of my sister's friends who was around my age being forced into this situation where they were like, oh, go on, kiss, peer pressure. My fucking God, it was the worst kiss I've ever experienced, I think. Like, the worst thing I can remember about it all is not the fact that there was a group of teenagers just casually laughing in the background as this was happening, and he'd just eaten a bar of dairy milk chocolate. This is so fucking disgusting. I remember, like, when you've eaten chocolate and your mouth goes all slobbery and chocolatey, and that was the kiss. It was just slobbery and chocolatey, and it just wasn't nice. It wasn't a great first experience. But yeah, it pops up in my brain. And ew. Why did I even agree to do that? I don't know. Well, like I say, peer pressure. And obviously I was like, well, I'm out with all the kids now. I need to do what they're doing, kind of scenario. But then it led me to another memory about having kisses when I was younger. Because after that, I feel like it awakened, I don't want to say the sexual side of me because I was still a small child, but it awoke that kind of lust scenario, like, oh, boys are a thing and I can see it now, you know? So when I was younger, as I've mentioned before, like, I used to sing in the choir all the time. Like, I always wanted the lead roles in primary school. And there was 2 different occasions where we were putting on performances. Now, the first one was Alice in Wonderland. And me and my friend at the time, we both used to have like sing-offs and dance-offs and stuff because we were both like that. We both wanted to just showcase constantly. And I remember she got the role of Alice and I was fucking furious. Like, 10-year-old me, 11-year-old me was like, what the fuck? I deserved that. And I blatantly asked the teacher, like, why didn't I get that role? I got the Queen of Hearts instead. And she went, well, that role's kind of better suited to you because you're just a bit bossy, aren't you? And that has stuck with me for 30 years. That's a little side note, because then the second performance, I actually got the lead in the Year 6 play, and it was Robin Hood. But me and this boy had to share a kiss on stage. And I look back at that now and I'm like, that was not appropriate. Like, we could have literally just had a little peck on the cheek and improvised and it would have been cool. There was no need for us to have a full-on smackaroonies on stage at 11. Like, that not weird to anyone else now? No? Just me? Okay. But yeah, I'm like, the earlier kisses that I experienced, this is a funny thing about being a kid as well. Like, I remember we'd be out in the park and stuff and we'd all just like line up. Like, the boys would line up on one side and the girls would line up on the other, and we'd just work our way down kissing each other. And sometimes it was really nice and sometimes it wasn't so nice, and then you found the person you like kissing, and that's how it evolved. Like, hi, hypersexualised mini-me. Soz. But, yeah, that was a weird one. A weird one. First kisses. Tell me about your first kisses. I'm very intrigued. I want to know more about everyone's first kisses now. But, moving on, because, as we do, there's multiple subjects in most of my episodes. So while I was in Year 5, Year 6, obviously we do those orienteering kind of, you go on a little 5-day holiday to those activity centres and you go and do the rock climbing or the abseiling and the raft building and all that shit. All the good fun shit. And when we went, it was called PGL. And I swear to God, it was like one of the funnest times of my life. Just being in nature, being dirty, just allowing myself to be a kid. And it was fucking marvellous. But before we even got there, another close friend of mine had had a health scare. And she was so poorly. And I remember just thinking, like, I can't imagine her not being here. And it just shows that, like, there's no one off limits when it comes to illness and disease and all of this stuff. Like, is that written in the stars? Is that already predetermined? Because she fell really ill with meningitis, and obviously it scared her family, it scared all of her friends. And even though we're not very close now, we still have each other on social media and stuff, and I always want people to know that if you've been part of my history at whatever point, like, I see you and I'm proud of you. And yeah, I know probably younger us would have had our little arguments and our little tiffs and we would have been little bitches because we didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I always support you from afar. Like, There's no question in that whatsoever. I'm championing everyone just to do what's right for them and do what makes them feel happy. Because I think that week that we were at PGL made me really appreciate being a kid. Because that was probably one of the only experiences I got as a kid to kind of just be daft. Like, just be silly, just roll about in the mud because you fucking can, you know? My parents obviously weren't the type of parents who put me into extracurricular activities. And as I've grown up, I think this has kind of impacted me in ways that I couldn't determine until I'd got past the sight ward. So we're talking 30, like, minimum. But they never put me in extracurricular activities or anything like that. And I think that shaped my identity in a weird way because I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't know what I found fun. I wasn't good at sports because they never put me in any sports. They never put me in any physical activity. They never invested in my character from an early age. And it struck me how different my sister got that upbringing from my mum and how my dad gave me and my brother something completely different, because my sister was always actively pushed to try and do her best, and she was very academic. She was always in productions, like she could sing, she could dance, she could act, she could do all of this stuff. She was great on her musical instruments, like she was an incredible artist. All of these incredible things that I wasn't. And it's obvious looking at it now that she got that fueled in her. My mum ignited that spark in her. And that light was so dim for me. Like, how'd you get to 30 years old and be like, who the fuck am I? Like, that was the situation. I didn't know. And even now, I'm still pushing myself out my comfort zones to try and find things that are new and potentially childish in the eyes of others in a lot of ways. Like, I find my joy in theme parks because it takes me back to being a kid with no responsibility. That one day I can run around and just be an absolute fool and have so much fun and laugh at myself. Like, they're the best days. They are the best days. And little me is still thanking myself for going and doing that wild stuff and not forgetting about having the fun, because adulting's shit. Like, bottom line, who wants to do this? Because I know I don't want to fucking do this. It's boring as shit. Like, the 9 to 5, paying the bills, and then there's no fun in it. Sorry, what? That is not what I'm here for. That is not what I'm built for. That cannot be my life. So if it means I go and skip round the park or go and play on a park or jump on the zip line and adults look at me like I've got 7 heads, then yeah, Karen, I'm just here having a great time. And I hope I can inspire you to do the same. Oh, went down a little rabbit hole with that one, didn't I? But on that note, because there's only one episode left of season 2. Oh, I'm excited for season 3. We're getting back into the nitty gritty. It's not all as tame as it has been in this season. But on that note, I'm Emma J. This has been Dysfunction Exposed, and I will see you for the last episode of season 2 next Sunday. Have a great week, and I'll see you then.